Anyway, I had an idea yesterday that maybe I should open these videos with like general DMing tips. So I thought I'd give that a shot. Maybe if I remember, I'll do this every session. And today I kind of want to just talk to like newer DMs about feeling overwhelmed. Because that is a common thing, especially when you're newer to this, because like it can feel like you're in charge of the entire world, you know? You're doing 4 million things at once, or you have to keep in mind like 10 billion things, rose from all the stuff they tell you in the book or whatever. But I just wanted to point out, I guess, to kind of like just discuss that it's really easy to get lost in this type of stuff, to like be really easy to get overwhelmed being a DM when you're brand new, at least. Especially when you're brand new, help you keep things in a perspective. It's just to remember that the only thing that's important at any given time is the answer to this question, and that's, what is the party doing right now? Just ask yourself that question if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, or ask the party that question, even better. What are you doing right now? Because they will answer it. They will typically have something to say. But it's really easy to get a little overwhelmed with all this stuff. But the other thing I wanted to say is that really you're only ever doing 4 things. One of 4 things, You're running combat, you're running dungeons, or you're role-playing with NPCs. That's the third thing. And the last thing is running overhead travel, or running the hex crawl system, which you might call it, because when you do overland travel like this, everything's always in hexes, like you can see like that. When you do like a normal battle map or whatever, a normal dungeon, everything is then in squares. I don't know why D&D does it that way, but that's how they do it. And if you keep it like that type of perspective, just being like dungeons versus combat versus role-playing NPCs and like social situations versus running overhead travel, or whatever you want to call it, the hex crawl, then this job becomes a little easier, I think. Just because like it's only ever going to be one of those 4 things that you're doing. Okay, dungeons pretty much run themselves. That's the way I've always felt. They're always like, they're pretty well written. Like, it's pretty much just like, as soon as like somebody goes, you watched me do it last time, as soon as they go here, you read the thing that B1 says. Like, these things kind of indicate what you should read something as soon as the characters get in there. And whenever that says, typically sets up the players to do something, or like kind of tells them what's going on, or gives hints of what they're about to run into. Second thing is running combat, and then so like that's why I kind of feel like the dungeons pretty much run themselves, because you read a thing, characters will probably react to that in a way that like is already laid out in the book, because they test played it and they kind of know. And that might include things like combat or traps, or maybe just some other NPCs who are just trapped down there or something like that. But running dungeons and running combat as an extension are like the first 2 things you should probably learn. Like, even though I'm like saying if you're a first time DM to run this campaign, really if you're a first time DM, you should run like a single dungeon, because that'll probably be easiest for you. Overall, just kind of learning all the mechanics and everything. And there's a lot of like free dungeons online if you look for them. Like if you look up the Adventurers League, which is kind of like tournament play for D&D, or like the closest thing D&D will have to like tournament play is the Adventurers League. Because there's specific rules for that. But like if you look up their individual adventures, they can be perfectly run, because like the Adventurers League, those individual adventures are all meant to be run in like one session, and they do it like really fast in a very specific way. But you can just take those adventures and run them normally, and they'll be fine. And it'll probably take like 2 or 3 sessions, honestly, because you're not trained professionals to run the Adventurers League game, and that's fine. You don't want to do that anyway. You want to always let characters take their time. You never want to rush them into anything, with some exception. How about that? And next thing is combat, which I think goes hand in hand, like I said. The biggest thing about combat that early DMs get wrong is something I already mentioned, and that's that they don't understand that like you shouldn't treat monsters as if they're just killing machines with no emotions on whether or not they live or die. Because they're not. You should always treat them like NPCs, like other NPCs. They always have their own wants and desires, and that might seem a little overwhelming at first, but once you get used to like what the monsters are, it's not so bad. Like I said, like goblins are one of the most common monsters in all these adventures, at least for early levels like this, and goblin, you can kind of consider them to always, at least, like, to almost always, like the most generic goblin would be one that is greedy, more greedy than they are smart, and often cowardly. Doesn't mean every goblin's like that, right? He makes it up a bit, but but especially at first-time DMs, like, don't really think of giving these creatures a lot of individuality, at least at first, because they're just meant to be cannon fodder. You know, things for the party to run in and kill before moving on to other things that they can run in and kill. The bigger and better things. Anyway, the final two things. Role-playing NPCs is, again, not too hard once you get the hang of it. I feel like that one was probably the one that, like, overwhelmed me the most, especially with, like, things like how Dragon's Rest is set up in this book, which is so many kobolds, and each one has, like, a little blurb about them, and just like, why do I need this many characters? And it turns out, you don't. You don't need that many characters, but a lot of these modules like to have a lot of flavor text, I guess, or, like, flesh things out in a certain way and stuff. Also, something I hadn't considered is, like, if you're, like, running a long-time campaign or want to have, like, the setting of Dragon's Rest be, like, the entirety of a campaign, you know, like, go on from just these simple dungeons, then you might want to have that many NPCs just for that reason. Maybe flesh them out a bit more just to make the whole location feel more real, because if that's going to be basically the hub for your party to keep going back to, then definitely have more NPCs and stuff like that. Or definitely, like, try to keep the NPCs more in line just to make everything feel more alive, you know? Like, keep track of the NPCs and what they're doing. But for, like, a short thing like I'm doing here, like, it's really not necessary to do all that. You probably just need one person to be a quest giver, and that's it. Especially for this campaign, because this campaign is especially short. Anyway, and last thing is the overhead hex crawl, which is also fairly easy. Mostly just rolling for random encounters, which my advice for that is you should never roll for a random encounter right at the table, unless your party, like, knows that's what you're doing, you know? You should always roll before the session starts, whether or not there'll be a random encounter. Then you can set it up before the session starts, and while they're, like, halfway across here, well, actually, that will happen, but the encounters aren't random. But I suppose if we want, we could have them roll a random, like a random encounter. It's typically just you roll a d20 once per day at night. Depending on where they are, it could be like 16 or more. They'll get a random encounter, which is pretty high for that. That's like 25%. And typically it's something like 18 or more, and they'll get a random encounter. That's 15%. Or 19 or more, sometimes just 20. It depends on how dangerous the surrounding area is for the most part. In one of these books, I think it was Hoard of the Dragon Queen, actually, / Tyranny of Dragons, they actually have an encounter table that's like, that depending on what you roll, if you roll 16 or more, it also determines the time of day, like 16 is morning, 17 is afternoon, 18 is evening, you know, etc., etc. And I guess that's it. That's my advice, you know. If you're feeling overwhelmed, just remember there's only like 4 parts to this game. There's only 4 parts to be an NPC. You're only ever doing one of those parts at any given time. The thing I found hardest of those 4 things was running NPCs, but once you get used to that, this is the thing I wanted to say, just that when you're running NPCs, just realize that the players are the star of the show. You know, the NPCs are just extras. You know, if this were like a TV show or something. They should never be like the ones who are like in the spotlight for the most part. Like, the most they'll ever do is like come and be like, here's a quest, and let me lay out the whole steps of the quest for you. But then the players can always choose to not go on that quest if they want, but like they'll like listen, or they listen and then decide what to do from there for themselves, you know. An NPC should never be the one like making decisions or really barking orders for the most part, unless like that's the type of campaign you're playing with an NPC who's like their commander or something, and if they're in like a war or something like that. And finally, hex crawls, which you should set up ahead of time so you know what you're doing. Always make the random counter rolls before the session starts, if you can. But, I mean, like, if not, you can always just set up, like, a page like this. Throw some monsters on it, you know. There also might be a 5th thing I'm not thinking of. So, leave a comment if you know what it is. Anyway, overhead travel. Now, you know what? I just remembered something. I have these free maps here. I think it's okay to use these. Some more just, like, generic dungeons. I just want to, like, let's see. Let's do this swamp. I'll add a page and change the map layer. Add a swamp. Fit to page or whatever. Okay. You should always let your players decide how to proceed. they might decide to go back the way they came. They might decide to like, just swim around the island, which would be insane. Or if they have the boat from Dragon's Rest, they'll probably use that to get back. But for this adventure, there is an encounter for overhead travel, which we'll say they'll forego past Dragon's Rest, being like, we don't need to go there, and go straight toward the wreck of the Compass Rose, though normally they would probably definitely go back to Dragon's Rest. And I think there's some other things to do in Dragon's Rest if they do that. Oh, and there's also an extra zombie encounter they can do. Look that up really quick. But I'll say that this extra zombie thing is optional. But now we will go to that new page I just made, which I hope it's alright if I use, and explain to them, like, these islands are covered in wooden bridges that are only thin enough that each one of you have to go single file. Oh. And of course they're half the size they ought to be. You can grow back to normal size again. No longer shrunk down to talk to the myconids. Or whatever. Myconids are normal size, just so you know. Not say that actually happened. Just in this particular adventure, they had to do that. Anyway, so Stony will go first. Vernon will be in between them. Akuma will be in the back. Just because she has way better AC than Vernon. And as they make their way along the bridge, this happens. Which, it's actually the first time I haven't done it on a boat. This one. Normally they like get the rowboat, and then when they go out, I'll tell them what's happening there. But billowing clouds of steam emerge from the rocks ahead, and the air grows thicker with moisture. As you round a bend, you see a cove where a hot spring burbles up from the rocks and spills into a pool before draining into the ocean. Turquoise water is luminescent, and the gray basalt edges of the spring are lined with vibrantly colored mushrooms, which occasionally burst in a shower of rainbow spores. Another reason I usually have them go to the ship first and not to the Myconid cave is because this has the thing about mushrooms, and I feel that's a good foreshadowing for the Myconid cave. Even though they do mention that there's mushroom people there at the Dragon's Rest, it does help to remind the players what's going on, kind of. Or if they weren't paying attention, they might pick up on a few things. I don't know. Truthfully, I don't have much hope for PCs to ever pick up what I'm putting down. Like, there's a dragon in front of you. Well, I wander around the dragon. No, wait, it's attacking you. Well, I run away, you know. Like, weird stuff like that. I don't know. Never mind about that. Anyway, so this is technically supposed to be happening at Hot Springs that the party just wanders into. I'm doing this on a bridge, and there are no hot springs. So what they're fighting is more fume drakes, which is like, well, the fire snake is the thing that attacks them at the end of that one. So it's another like thing that kind of foreshadows the thing at the Myconid cave, and I don't know, it makes me think, what? Oh, I looked at the wrong thing. Whoops. Fume drakes don't get a picture. And everyone roll for initiative. But yeah, because they're fighting for fume drakes, and so that thing about mushrooms, I feel this fight is usually better before getting to the Myconid cave. And you might, because it gives suggestions on how to weight it for level 1, I think. Oh no, it just says it's a harder challenge for first level characters. But so you could do it at level 1. If it's a 3-man party like this, and they're level 1, I would maybe take one of the fume drakes out. 4-man would probably do this fine. They fought 2 in that cave at once, and they were fine. Also, this is obviously not a hot springs, but this looks like a place that fits in to that island. Those islands on the north part of the island. Yeah, doesn't it though? Do like that things kind of work out that way. Like sometimes you find a map that's like, you know, this looks like it just fits right here. These fume drakes are going in and out of the water, even though I think they're made of smoke still. So that's kind of weird. Because I thought smoke dissipated in water. You know, smoke can't exist in water. So you might want to say, like, maybe they're underwater fume drakes or something, like a specific type. Just make them a little more interesting than those other things. But they still have all the same abilities. Anyway, get all their initiative in there. Be sure to select each one at a time. So that should be boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. And then need these, their character sheets up. Make sure they're selected. They are. Okay, Stony goes first. No, Stony rolls high on initiative a lot. Seems to go first a lot, even though dexterity is only +1, but whatever. Stony just gives him a look back. Does his other 2 companions. He's like, not this again! And then moves forward and attacks his fume drake with a sword. 16 to hit. They have a 12 AC, so that hits. Always check all the immunities, fire and poison, and the resistances and weaknesses. Some of them don't have those. This one only has a couple immunities. They're immune to fire and poison, and being poisoned. So they take the full damage. 11 slashing damage. And then it's this one's turn, which Stony probably didn't even notice because these two appeared in front of him. But so this will sneak up to here. It could attack either one of these at random. I'll just roll a d20. Decide even. I'll attack Yuma. Odd. I'll attack Vernon. A d20. Even. Attacking Akumi. Personally, this is how I decide pretty much anything. Any random choice that the monsters could make. They'll just roll a die and decide beforehand. Sometimes I'll have them make like an IQ saving throw if I think whatever they're deciding involves actual intelligence to determine something. Or not an IQ, intelligence saving throw, which is also called IQ in GURPS. So this is going to be attacking Akumi. Or maybe I'll attack both if it has random. No, it doesn't. If it has multi-attack or anything, it does not. Oh, I forgot about Scolding Breath. Well, this one will just bite her this time just because I forgot this time. 16, that does not hit. She's a whopping 18 in AC. She's whopping for Cleric. Uh-oh. Yeah, this Fume Drake would go here and give both Fume Drakes advantage. I mean, it could also technically go here, but I don't know. I think if it was just rushing up there to attack, it would do that for sure. And I guess they'll both just be biting from both sides. I don't see a reason. Like, they wouldn't do their breath attack, because it would probably attack the other person. Or is it a fire attack? Because they're immune to fire. Colding, steam, or fire damage. Yeah, so I guess they would be immune, but it'll still bite with advantage against Stony. Oh, but it misses anyway. Cool. Akumi's turn. Akumi will attack the thing right in front of her. She will do so with... See, I didn't make her good at attacking in general just because I gave her 8 in strength. I was just thinking she'd always be at long range, not really thinking like, well, at a 3-man party, she has to cover double ground. Should have given her the +2 in strength instead of dexterity. Oh well, I'll just do spells. Again, this is a really short campaign. I'm not too concerned that she might be a little poorly made, but something to keep in mind next time I make a cleric, I guess. So, Sacred Flame, only 1 if it hits, so if it misses, I won't be that upset. Does not miss, takes 1 damage. Well, it's something. The other one will bite. Okay, these Fume Drakes aren't as desperate as that one that was trapped in that cave. You know, these probably wouldn't fight till the last breath. If you wanted to go a little easier on these people, even though they haven't taken any damage yet, so I wouldn't. You could say this one maybe gets scared and runs off, you know? It's like, wait, you can hurt me, and then leaves. But it would probably... being that it's with these two as well, like safety in numbers and everything, and probably keep attacking, which is what they'll do anyway. So bite with advantage. Wow, that hits. 5 fire damage to Stony. Ah, it burns! Stony shouts. And then Vernon's turn. Vernon sees this right next to him, but also sees Stony's in trouble. He's like, I'll save you, Stony! And cast Hex on that one, which I mark with fire, but it does necrotic damage, so it can't hurt them. Same with, like, even though it's Sacred Flame, it does radiant damage. You can see that there. Just, you see me start yelling at me. So Vernon does that, and then has Hex, which now, thanks to his weird warlock things, does +3 damage with the charisma. I don't know if it will do that automatically or not. Let's see. He misses, though, so it doesn't matter. Let's cast this just to see. Oh, the 1d10 equals 8. But it also, so this would be, yeah, they should add +3 on top of that. So I guess it doesn't do that automatically. I'll just have to keep that in mind. When I roll stuff for him, it's fine. Stony. He says, and then moves 1 step this way just so he's not in. Just stop giving them flanking. Because the rule is, like, if he moves more than that, that's an attack of opportunity. I mean, that both of them could use their reaction to attack him for free. But just as long as he's staying within melee range with them, it's fine. So he can't do that without any issue. And he then attacks the Fume Drake, which has been marked. The one that's damaged already, and also marked by Vernon. Right, and then Stony attacks with a long sword. 16, that'll hit. 9 damage. Oh wait, and then maybe he should wait, should look up how that works exactly. Let's look up Stony, and should have, no, that's not it. Divine Smite, yeah. No, starting second level when you hit a creature with melee attack. You spend one spell slot to deal radiant damage to target in addition to the weapon's damage. Extra damage is 2d8 for a first level shot, plus 1d8. Each spell level higher than 1, heroes to maximum damage increased to 1. Target is undead or fiend to maximum of 68. I just don't remember if I'm allowed to do that after I roll for damage or not. Well, I'll say they are. And he will use a Divine Smite, which does an extra 2d8 damage, so 10 more damage on top of the 9, so it's super dead. And he used a Smite, so that takes a spell slot. That's the wrong dude. Stony, there he is. He had to. Well, they didn't take a long rest, but when I do milestones in my game, I'm just like, and take the benefits of a long rest after that. Just forgot to do that for them. So they would have all their spell slots over and everything. It's like Borderlands rules, how I see it. But only when I do milestones, when I do XP, which I truthfully do more than milestones. I make people take long rest in order to level up. It's like Elder Scroll rules, old school Elder Scroll rules. I don't think they do that anymore. But you just have to sleep in order to level up. Anyway, that Fume Drake is dead, and it's that one's turn. It'll roll randomly, decide who to attack again. Again being Akumi is even, so attack Akumi again. Oh no, actually, because I forgot last time, it'll move there and do a Fire Breath. Scalding Breath attack. So to make dexterity saving throws, but they only need 11 or more, which isn't terrible. Uh-oh, she missed. And Vernon, he made it though. Okay. And it's 1d8 fire damage, or half as much, so 1d8. Ooh, full damage to Akumi, so 9 health for her. He only takes half damage though. Oh, the exact same amount of health. Weird. And yeah, okay. That Fume Drake's turn is done. This Fume Drake's turn, we'll just attack him with a bite, which misses. Okay, Akumi's turn. Even though it's only to one of them, we shall cast Thunder Wave. Oh, I was just trying to put the description out. Whoops. I guess she cast it then. Whatever. Anyway, the Wave of Thunder Source suits out each one. Yeah. It's only for 3 damage though. 1 plus 2 for 2d8. Yeah. The worst Thunder Wave ever. So this might also push them away. So they make a Constitution saving throw. They make it, so take half damage. In D&D, half of 3 is 1.5, but it's always rounded down to 1. Always round down unless it specifically says otherwise. So it would only take 1 damage. Again. 1 hit wonder. That's Akumi, I guess. That Fume Drake's dead. Vernon, he probably thinks Stony has it. Now that's only 1 more Fume Drake, so he'll move his Hex onto this one. He sees Akumi is having trouble. Also, it just blasted him with a bunch of stuff. So Hex. Then he will attack. This is Eldritch Blast. 12. Does that hit? It does. Nice. Eldritch Blast. Just the 2. Oh, but plus 3, so it's 5 damage. This thing is like, we keep getting just like glancing blows. It must be really fast. So 5 damage at least, but... Oh, but also with the Hex damage, which makes it 3 more, so 8 damage. Not bad. And Stony has got his own problems, continues fighting that one. 21 definitely hits. 5 more hit points. Aha! We will defeat them! Sig gives a rallying cry. This one, rolls to see if its breath comes back, and then continues attacking. Ooh, 6 more damage to Akumi. Oh no! My health! And that's their turn. Next up, that Fume Drake will... it'll just keep biting at Stony. I'm just thinking, I think if it moves here, it could use its breath and hit both of them. But I'm actually not sure about that. Yeah, 15, yeah. Okay, actually it'll do that. I think that'll hit both of them. Or it should. It's 15-foot cone. I don't know if I can do like a cone shape or anything. Oh. No? Not a rectangle. Can't change that. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, it'll do that. Do its breath attack. We're just like, for both sides. Oh, it doesn't say. Whatever. Anyway, they get to make dexterity saving throws. They only need 11 or more. Ooh, he missed. And Stony ate it. So, 1d8 worth of damage. 3. Okay, not bad. So he'll take 3 health. He'll take half that, which is only 1. Okay. It's Akumi's turn. Akumi, I think, will lay on hands herself. Not lay on hands, that's wrong class. Cure wounds herself, because she sees she's not doing a whole lot of damage. Okay, so cast it. Oh. Submit. Cancel. So 7 health. Back up to 10. And she also gives us Vernon a thumbs up, being like, you can kill it. I'm sure of it. Vernon's like, you're right, Akumi. I'll kill it now. Kill it dead. So Eldritch Blast, which misses. Damn it. Yeah, just barely misses. Well, I tried. It's good knowing you, Akumi. Gives her a pat on the back. Stony attacks. That hits. 6 damage. Back to that. Gets to roll. See if its breath comes back. Nope. So it'll bite Akumi. Critical hit. Oh no. 8 damage total. Ah! I'm dying! This Fume Drake goes. Oh, get to see if its breath comes back. It doesn't. So it'll bite. That hits. 9 more damage. Or down to 9 health. I mean, 5 more damage. Kumi's turn. I think she's gonna healing word or cure wounds herself again. 7 more health. So she's out of spell slots now, but it might last another round thanks to that. She's just being the shield between her and Vernon right now. Vernon. I'll just keep Eldritch Blasting. That definitely hits. Nice. 8 damage plus 3 plus this hex. So that killed it. Thank the gods for that. Kumi says, oh wait, it's on her turn. But she says that anyway. Thank the gods for that. Doesn't ever move, but it's like, wait, we're still in combat. Stony will attack. Longsword misses. Ah, I'm growing weak. He complains as he misses. The Fume Drake's turn. Will his breath attack come back? It will not. So he will bite Stony. Critical miss. So then Akumi, she will Sacred Flame that. Let's get the Dexterity saving throw. Misses. Also takes 2 damage. Vernon will transfer his Hex, bonus action, and then will Eldritch Blast for 3 damage with plus 3, so 6 damage, plus, is the wrong thing, plus Hex, 1 more damage, so 7 damage total. Almost dead. This is the point at which I would probably say this Fume Drake suddenly realizes all is lost and attempts to escape on its turn. But only if like Stony misses here, then it'll run away. Oh, whoops! I closed his character sheet by mistake. I have to wait for it to load open again. Oh, not too bad. Okay, so Stony's final attack, perhaps, and it hits and it kills it. Da 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 da! They did it. The battle is complete. So we'll go back to the map, and actually after the battle being complete and everything, and just because I use this map in particular, they'd probably be like, well, can we long rest up here? We definitely need a long rest, and they would probably, and I would let them do that, even though it's a random map I found. Everything that's on it is now canon, you know? And then they would long rest, and I didn't plan on that fight taking as long as it did, but I think I will stop there after we long rest with everyone. Oops. Alright, Vernon. Vernon, long rest. Stony, long rest. And Akumi, long rest. Alright, and next time, characters will get to the Compass Rose. Alright, see you then. And good gaming. Good gaming for all. Until all a good night.